Hey there, everyone. All right, welcome to another options update from me, Terence Tan, over here, the Unpossible Investor. All right, now today I want to take the opportunity to actually share with you a trade that I actually did yesterday night. Right, and I'll be providing another update really soon to show you the outcome of the trade that I took yesterday night. All right, because it's going to be a one-day trade over here, right, based on earnings. All right, and I'm already in on the trade since yesterday night when the market was trading, and the stock basically announced earnings right after the market has closed. So when market reopens today, I'm actually going to take the opportunity to close off the trade, and I will be able to come back and do another video to show you the result of the trade itself. Right, but first, all right, let's take a look at the SPY and let's see what the market did yesterday. Right, it kind of did absolutely nothing. Right now, so if you look at what has happened this week, right, we very much had a big move up on Monday, right? We had an indecision day on Tuesday, right? And then we had a sell-off, right, on Wednesday. And then yesterday, right, was another indecision. So this is actually going to lead to, I would say, right, a pretty exciting close, right, for the week heading into the final trading day today. All right, now today we also have PCE data, which is going to be very sensitive in the market, and it's potentially going to be a market mover as well. All right, now, and that may be the reason why, although we seem like we did quite some kind of a move yesterday, right, but it kind of pretty much ended unchanged right now. So I'm just going to take you down to the intraday action of what we had yesterday, right? And if you look at things over here, I'm looking at a 5-minute chart. All right now, so I'm going to try to find, all right, the 9:30 candle. All right, I think it was here. All right now, so 9:30 candle had us selling off, right, and making everyone think, all right, we're going into another big down day, all right, for only the market to actually catch all the short sellers over here who jumped in on the open, right? And then, right, with a buy up, right, probably leading to what we call a short squeeze. All right, now, so all those who have shorted the market since the opening, right, when the market turned around, right, they're pretty much squeezed, right, and had their stop loss triggered, right, and that's probably what led to this big rally over here for, I would say, the better of from 9:40 all the way to about 11, right, so the better of about 90 minutes, right, before it kind of stopped, right, and then took a little bit of time before it kind of came back off, right now. So it pretty much erased and came back off to where we opened. Do you realize? Right, it's pretty amazing, isn't it? All right, we came back to where we opened yesterday, right, and then tried to do another bounce, right, before closing, right where it opened again. Right now, so it very much had looked like it had a lot of volatility, which is what the market is all about right now. Okay, but it basically didn't do anything at the end of the day, right? But it did move the VIX up by just a little tad bit, right? Adding on from what it increased, right, from the day before because of the sell-off. Right now, so let's bring you over to Lululemon. All right, why? Because if you noticed over here, Lululemon is actually announcing earnings, all right, yesterday. Yeah, all right, it actually finished announcing its earnings, right? And what I really want to show you over here is a trade that I actually got filled just yesterday night. All right, now, so let me just get to that. All right, so here we are. All right, now, so I actually did an earnings trade, right? Something that I've taught all my students as well, right? Which they do have their hands on the strategy as well, right? And you noticed over here, I fired it off, right, yesterday, right, just past midnight, right, Singapore time, right? And it's a butterfly earnings trade. Now, so for those of you who do not trade options, right, a simple way to describe this strategy, right? It's from where Lululemon is, right, which it closed pretty much unchanged, right, at $340. Right, I'm basically wanting Lululemon, right, to land right in the middle of the three option strikes that I have. Right now, so I very much want it to land somewhere around 310 to 3, yeah, pretty much 310. All right, so if it lands right at 310 over here, all right, it's going to bring me the maximum probability, right? But okay, that's only when, right, the market closes tonight, right? Because the option expires on March 28th, right, which happens to be today as well. Right, but you're only going to get a maximum profit when the market expires. All right, oh, sorry, when the option expires. Okay, but right at the open, right, we're still going to get some degree of profitability. right, on, you know, the price that I paid, right, to open up this trade. All right, now, so looking at where it is, if you noticed, right, the bid and ask is actually showing you, right, the post-market prices, right, of Lululemon. All right, so Lululemon, as we anticipated, all right, okay, we anticipated it to come off, all right, and earnings didn't, you know, kind of live up to mark. All right, if we go to the news over here, let me get to the news. All right. Now, say slower consumer spending, all right, tariffs is going to hurt, you know, the annual forecast. All right. Now, so downbeat on annual forecast, you know, pretty much market doesn't like, all right, the news that it's portraying going forward, all right, because it's all downbeat, all right. So it seems like market is pricing it, all right, for, you know, a sell-off. Yeah, right now. So they brought the stock down, all right. And if you look at the trade that I have over here, all right, it's very much going to land, all right, somewhere in the middle, right, of all my three strikes. Now, so what happens over here is that if you look at the strike prices difference, right, I have about a $7.50 distance, right, between the top strike, right, the middle strike, and the bottom strike. Right now, so what it also means is that out of this butterfly trade, right, my maximum profit is actually set, right, at $7.50. Right, and as long as it lands anywhere in between the three strikes, right, now I'm going to get to be able to close the trade, right, somewhere from, right, I would say what I paid, right, 0.55, right, up to 750. Now, once again, I said, right, 750 is only going to happen, right, when the market expires, right? So I would say, right, I'm going to be aiming to close this trade off anywhere from about $2, right, to $3, right, if prices stay around here, right, or maybe bounce a little, go back to 310, right, when the market opens tonight. All right, now, so is that possible? Right, I would say that it's really possible because if you look at things, right, Lululemon actually closed at 340 as we saw above, right, and once earning came out, right, it started selling off, right, it did a little bit of bounce, right, and then it sold off, right, it came back to 310, right, and then after that settled at 307. Right now, so if we get some kind of a bounce over here, right, we should still be able to get some kind of degree of profitability, right, out of this trade. But okay, we will only know, right, when the market officially opens tonight. All right, so as I said, right, I'm going to do a very quick market update again, right, to show you the end result of this earnings trade that I did on Lululemon. All right, now, so that's all I have for you in today's video. Right, I hope you did enjoy this little bit about how you can trade earnings, right, or stock earnings, which is happening around the corner once again, right, and okay, enjoy yourself for the rest of the day. I'll see you in my next video. This is Terrence Tan, the I'm Possible Investor, signing off today in this video. Bye-bye for now.